I was a house with the lights burned out, windows cracked by years of doubt. Every room just echoed pain, like sunshine only brought the rain. I wore a smile I didn't feel, learned how to bend but never heal. Every promise turned to dust, every forever lost its trust. I kept my heart behind a wall, built so high it couldn't fall. But even stone can break apart when loneliness outgrows the heart. Then you stood there in the flame, spoke my silence like my name. You didn't run from what you saw, you held my room without a flaw. And slowly the smoke began to clear. From ashes to alive in your arms, you turned my wreckage into calm. Where I was burning in the dark, you became my beating heart. From shadows I was torn apart, now I'm safe inside your arms. From ashes to alive, you traced the lines of who I've been, didn't judge the war within. Every scar you touched with grace, like broken things still had a place. You stayed when nights were long and cold, when fear was louder than my soul. You whispered hope into my chest until my restless heart could rest. I felt the weight begin to move, like I had something left to lose. Not just the past I tried to hide, but something beautiful inside. You saw a spark beneath the gray, a dying fire. You chose to stay, and breath by breath you pulled me through into a sky I never knew. So gently you made me new. From ashes to alive in your arms, you rewrote all my broken songs. Where I was drowning in the dark, you lit a never-ending spark. From a heart with no more songs, now I belong inside your arms. From ashes to alive, there were nights I cursed the air I breathed. Our love was just a lie, I believed. But you were patient with my fear, stayed through every trembling tear. You didn't save me with a fight, you loved me back into the light. And piece by piece, without alarm, I found my home inside your arms. From ashes to alive in your arms, no more hiding from the scars. You turned my endings into stars, put steady rhythm in my heart. What once was lost and torn apart is breathing warm inside your heart. From ashes rise. I'll remember where you start. In the quiet after harm, I was reborn inside your arms. Inside your arms. I was living in a silence no one heard, counting cracks along the ceiling of my world. Every morning felt the same shade of gray, like the sun forgot my name along the way. Kept walking through the ruins of my pride, with 1,000 unsaid tears I had to hide. With every heartbeat felt too heavy to be true, like it hurt to simply make it through. Then you found me in the dark without a sound, put your hand where all my broken pieces drowned. And for the first time in so long, I felt the truth slowly rising, rising. Now I'm breathing again because of you. Every shattered dream is coming back in view. You turn my weakest moments into proof that love can pull a soul back into you. I was fading like a shadow in the blue. Now I'm breathing again because of you. I remember how your fingers traced my scars, like they weren't mistakes but maps to who we are. You didn't try to fix what time had done. You just stayed until the healing had begun. When my faith was just a whisper in the rain, you held steady through the trembling and the pain. Every word you said was warm and true, like hope was born in something new. You saw beauty in the wreckage of my past, built a a broken lamb to someone new. I'm breathing deeper, stronger, true. Yes, I'm breathing again because of you. If tomorrow tries to steal my light away, I will remember how you made me stay alive in ways I never thought I'd do. I'm breathing, still breathing because of you. I was fading in a room without a window, breathing air that never filled my lungs. Every word I spoke fell back in echoes, like a half-forgotten song unsung. I was drifting through the weight of every midnight, counting doubts instead of counting stars. Even hope felt distant in the dim light, like it couldn't find my heart. Then you touched the silence in my chest, put your ear against the emptiness, and somehow you could hear what I couldn't say. You stayed, you stayed. Your love was my oxygen when I was running out of air. You filled my lungs with life again, and showed me someone still cared. When I was sinking deep within the shadows of what had been, you pulled me close and whispered, live. Your love was my oxygen. I remember how your arms would hold me steady when my thoughts were breaking down. You never asked me to be ready, you just lifted me from the ground. Every scar I You were the calm beneath my skin, the rhythm of my heart. When I was barely holding on, you were the strength within. You gave me breath when I had none. Your love was my oxygen. There were nights the world felt colder, like winter wouldn't end. I was tired of getting older without a single hand to lend. But you stood there in the doorway, like sunrise after rain. You didn't take my pain away. You helped me breathe through it again. And slowly, slowly, the air returned to me. Your love was my oxygen, the miracle beneath my skin, the quiet force that carried me through every storm I'd been. From fragile bones to steady hands, from brokenness to strength within. I found my life, I found my stand. Your love was my oxygen. If ever I forget the way you saved me from the edge, I'll close my eyes and feel the breath you placed inside my chest. And with every inhale, I will remember when I was nothing but a silent wind. Until your love was my oxygen. I was a shadow in an empty room, curtains closed in the middle of June. Every sunrise felt the same as night. No color left, no trace of light. I wore my silence like a second skin, held my tears where hope had been. Every heartbeat felt so weak, like it forgot what it meant to speak. I was drifting far from who I used to be, just a broken echo of a memory. Then you found me in the quiet where no one else could see. You touched the deepest sorrow and called it back to breathe. You breathe life back into me when I was barely holding on. You whispered through the red Love became my oxygen. You breathed life back into me. I was a storm without the rain, thunder rolling through my pain. Every promise turned to dust, every dream I couldn't trust. I built my walls so high and cold, afraid of what my scars might show. But you saw beauty in the cracks and never once stepped back. You traced the fractures of my past like they were art made to last. You didn't try to fix me, you just stayed right here. And somehow in your presence, the silence disappeared. You breathed life back into me when I forgot my own name. You stood inside my chaos and loved me just the same. You lit a fragile spark inside my tired chest, and every broken piece finally found its rest. I was fading like a flame on the edge of memory, but hope began to rise again. You breathed life back into me. I never knew that love could feel this safe, this real, like sunlight through the winter, like wounds that slowly heal. You didn't save a hero, you saved a soul undone, and taught my heart to beat again as if it just begun. You breathed life back into me when I had nothing left to give. You turned my shattered story into a reason still to live. Now every breath I take carries your melody from the ruins of who I was. You made a man who's free. I was barely just surviving, a ghost of who I'd be. But love became my second chance. You breathed life back, breathe life back into me. Breathe life back into me. And if my heart keeps beating, it's because you believe in the man I couldn't see. You breathe life back into me. was drifting through a room without a door, shadows stretching longer than before. Every mirror showed a stranger's face, someone lost without a trace. I kept talking just to hear a sound, but silence always pulled me down. Every night would fall into the same, a quiet echo of my name. Then you found me where the light was thin, where hope had long stopped letting anyone in. You didn't ask me who I used to be, you just stayed with me. You were the love that woke me from the dark, the steady flame inside my fragile heart. When I was barely holding on to spark, you lit a fire where the embers were apart. I was fading, falling through the cold, believing I was meant to be alone. But you were the love that woke me from the dark. I remember how you held my shaking hands, like you understood what no one understands. You traced the fractures in my soul and never tried to make them whole. You let the broken pieces breathe, gave them space to still believe that maybe scars are not the end, just proof a heart can bend. In your eyes I saw a softer sky, a place where fear no longer had to hide. For the first time I could feel the start of healing in my heart. You were the love that woke me from the dark, the gentle truth inside my guarded heart. When every dream had left its mark, you showed me who I really are. I was lost inside the night so long, certain I could never carry on. But you were the love that woke me from the dark. There were nights I almost disappeared, convinced that every hope had dried to tears. But you whispered through the doubt and fear, I'm right here, I'm right here. You didn't promise me a life without pain, you just stood beside me in the rain. And somehow that was more than enough, more than enough. You are the love that woke me from the dark, the rising sun inside my trembling heart. You turned my wounds into a work of art and gave my silent world a brand new start. Where I was empty, now I overflow. Where I was broken, now I grow. You are the love that woke me from the dark. Shadows try to call me back again. I'll remember how your light came in. and how you saw me from the start as someone worth a beating heart. You were the love that woke me from the dark.
I was standing on the edge of giving in, with tired eyes and paper-thin skin. Every road I took just led to doubt. Every prayer felt too worn out. The mirror showed a man half gone, smiling just to carry on. I built my wall so high above, afraid of falling back in love. Then you stepped into my silent storm. No grand words, just quiet and warm. You reached for me without a rush, and time slowed down with just one touch. You saved me with a single touch. Broken felt like far too much. You didn't need to say a word. Your heartbeat was the only cure. In your arms I found enough. Hope returned into something soft. I was lost in the dark so long. You saved me with a single touch. I remember how your fingers stayed, like they knew the fears I never named. Tracing scars I tried to hide, turning shame into something light. You never asked me to be strong. You loved the parts that felt so wrong.
was hard to love, too damaged to be worthy of. But you rewrote what I believe, with gentle hands and steady peace. You didn't fight my battles loud, you just stood beside me through the clouds. And slowly I began to see the man you always saw in me. You saved me with a single touch, turned fragile into fearless love. You breathed your faith into my chest and taught my restless heart to rest. Now every scar means something more. They led me to your open door. From barely there to standing tall, you saved me. You saved me with a single touch. If I forget the strength I found when old doubts try to drag me down, I'll close my eyes and feel that rush the night you reached and saved me with a single with a single touch. I was drifting through a cold and quiet room, shadows hanging where my dreams were meant to bloom. Every promise felt like smoke within my hands, slipping through like grains of sand. I kept speaking but my voice had lost its sound, smiling just to keep the questions down. Every night I lay awake with fragile pride, holding storms I kept inside. Then you touched the darkest corners of my mind, like a sunrise breaking gently through the blind. And for the first time I could see beyond the night, a distant light. Now I'm alive again in your light, standing where the broken meets the bright. You pulled my heart out of the endless fight and held it close, so tight. I was barely holding on to what was right. Now I'm alive again.
Now I'm alive, alive again in your life. I was drifting through a hollow room of doubt. Windows closed, but the cold was creeping in. Every mirror showed a stranger's face, a tired reflection wearing thin. I had buried all the fragile parts of me under layers of I'm fine and I'm okay. But silence echoed louder every night and slowly pulled my heart away. Then you stood beneath my breaking sky with gentle hands and steady eyes. You didn't ask me to be strong, you just stayed. You just stayed. It was the night your love revived my soul, when every shattered piece was made whole. You breathed the warmth into my bones where only winter used to go. I felt the darkness lose control as heaven found this heart of stone. It was the night your love revived my soul. I remember how your whisper felt like morning light on wounded skin. You traced the fear beneath my ribs and told me I could live again. There were storms I never spoke about, tides that almost pulled me under, but you held on without a doubt through all my quiet thunder. You saw the man I couldn't see past the hurt and history, and in your arms I learned to fall without fear, without fear. It was the night your love revived my soul, when every shattered piece was made whole. You turned my tears into rivers of gold, where broken hearts could finally flow.
soul. When grace wrapped tight around my bones, you filled the empty air I'd known with something pure and beautiful. Now every breath I hold carries the truth we wrote. It was a night, yes it was a night. Your love revived my soul. And if the dark comes back someday, I won't be who I was before, because I live the night. Your love revived my soul. I was walking through the silence like a shadow with no name. Every promise felt like violence, every sunrise looked the same. I was tired of pretending that the pain would disappear, building walls that kept me breathing but never let me feel. I had almost stopped believing love was anything but scars, counting nights instead of blessings, talking to the dark. Then you touched the deepest fraction no one else could see, and the pieces of my shattered soul started turning back to me. When your love found my broken heart, you whispered you don't have to fall apart. Through the cracks you poured your light and held me through the longest night, where I was lost and torn in two. You stayed when I had nothing left to prove. I was barely breathing in the dark till your love found my broken heart. You saw past the guarded distance, past the fear behind my smile, every doubt and every weakness. You embraced them for a while. You were patient with my healing, never rushed the fragile truth. You made safe what I was feeling, gave the hopeless something new. I remember how you told me I'm not going anywhere, and for the first time in forever I believed somebody cared. In your arms the storm grew quiet, all the chaos lost its sound. Every shattered dream inside me slowly settled to the ground. When your love found my broken heart, it mended every missing part. Through the cracks you poured your grace, and time could never erase. Where I was weak you made me strong. You were the right in every wrong. I was drifting came, but you rewrote every ending without asking me to change. You didn't love a perfect man, you loved the truth of who I am. And in your eyes I finally saw I was worthy after all. Soft braiding almost gone, like a tired and broken song, but you heard a melody still alive inside of me. When your love found my broken heart, it gave my life a brand new start. Through every scar and every tear, you stayed right here. I was empty, I was numb. You were the reason I could run from the ruins of my past into a love that's built to last. I was barely holding on till you showed me I belong. I was lost inside the dark when your love found my broken heart. Now every breath is different, every morning feels like home, because your love didn't just find me, it made this broken heart whole. I was standing on the edge of giving in, tired of fighting wars I couldn't win. Every promise felt too far away, like hope was just a word we used to say. I wore a smile like borrowed skin, hiding all the chaos deep within. Every night I lay awake and stare at a ceiling that never cared. Then you walked in through my silent storm, with gentle hands and a heart so warm. You didn't ask me who I used to be, you just stayed with me. I was rescued by the way you loved me, not with thunder, not always had a name. When I was drowning in my doubt, you were the calm that pulled me out. No grand escape, no flashing light, just your arms in the night. You saw the worst and didn't run. You chose my darkness over the sun. And in your faith I learned to see what love could do for me. I was rescued by the way you loved me, with steady hands and honesty. You built a bridge across my fear and whispered you are safe right here. No chains, no walls, just empathy, a heart that beats so tenderly. You gave me room to finally breathe, rescued by the way you love me. Yeah. There were nights I almost disappeared, haunted by the things I feared, but you traced light along my shame and softly called me by my name. You didn't promise skies of blue, you promised you would see me through, and somehow that was all I needed to believe I could be healed. I was rescued by the way you love me, by quiet strength and loyalty. You turned my tears into release, and my restless soul into peace. Now every heartbeat feels so free, like who I am. I was drifting through the quiet of my days, like a ghost inside familiar empty space. Every mirror showed a man I couldn't find, just a tired soul running out of time. I wore a smile like armor on my skin, but every night the silence settled in. The truth was heavy pressing on my chest, a fragile pulse that barely did its best. Then you touched the place I tried to hide, where all my broken pieces used to collide. You didn't flinch at what you'd find. You stay. Your heart restarted mine, with a rhythm soft and kind, like the first light breaking through the dark. You rewrote every fragile part. I was barely holding on to time, lost between the fault lines. Then love drew a steady line. Your heart restarted mine. to the tremble in my voice, like my shattered words still had a choice. You saw the fear behind my guarded eyes and called it strength in disguise. Where I saw damage, you saw gold. Where I felt numb, you felt my soul. You never rushed the healing tide. You just stood there by my side. When doubt was whispering my name and every hope felt far away, you pulled me close and let me find a spark inside. Your heart restarted mine with a rhythm so divine, like rain on drought, like breath in flame. You spoke my worth without a name. I was sinking line by line, crossing every warning sign. Then you gave me one more sign. Your heart restarted mine. There were nights I swore I'd never feel a love that stayed, a love that's real. But you were patient with my scars, counting constellations in the dark. You didn't promise perfect skies, you just held my shaking hands in yours. And somewhere in that quiet fight, I felt my heartbeat come to life. Your heart restarted mine. Now every second feels aligned, like broken clocks that tick again, like healing flowing through my veins. I was fading out of line, just a shadow out of time. Now I'm breathing deeper, strong, alive, because your heart restarted mine. If ever I forget the night, you turn my weakness into light. I'll close my eyes and feel the sign the moment your heart restarted mine.